Hello everyone, this is the Average Guy 1983. Today I would like to talk to you guys about the Shure SHA900 portable headphone amplifier. Now, I've had this portable headphone amplifier for quite some time now, and I figured that it would be a good idea to give you guys my experience with it, whether I have any bad luck with it or not. I can tell you right now, right off the bat, that I have had zero bad luck with this device. In other words, I haven't had any problems at all with it. And overall it's really nice, nicely designed, nicely built. It feels a little heavy than what I'm used to carrying, and but it's well worth it. It really improves the performance of the music you're listening to because of the built-in equalizer that's in the amplifier. So it really helps customize the sound to your liking, or to basically give you the best performance possible out of your in-ear monitors, earphones, headphones, or cans, whatever you would like to call them. And yeah, so let's go ahead and just take a quick look at the outside of the device. So this Shure SHA900 portable headphone amplifier has a built-in display. This is an OLED display, and it's very useful because it gives you information that's very vital to what you're using and what you're listening to. And we're going to go over that in just a little bit. On the side, you have your power button, which to turn it on or turn it off, you hold it for about 2 to 3 seconds, close to 3 seconds, or 2 seconds in other words. And once you press and hold it, it'll turn on, and the same thing, press and hold it and it'll turn off. Press it just one time and it'll be your back button. The button below that is actually your locking button. This one, once you pull the trigger down, it locks your power button and the volume button. Nothing happens if you lock it. So you'll just see a sign that says hold enabled. So you can't push anything, or even the power button. It's very convenient. So this is good if you have it in your pocket, or if you're a chick and you have it in your purse. You're not going to have any problems with nothing moving the volume control and going out of, changing anything that you already have set. At the top, you have a LED display. The LED turns green when it's powered on. It turns red when you reach 10% battery life and below. Other than that, there is no other color. There's no yellow, there's no orange, there's just green and red. That's it. So this one here is your line input. So this is a 3.5 millimeter jack, and the convenience about this is that you can connect anything to it. Anything from a piano that has a headphone jack output. You can connect portable DVD players if you want to do that. You can connect cassette players if you still have a Walkman. You can connect anything to it under the 3.5 millimeter jack, and it comes with a cable that's pretty long. It's about a good maybe 1 foot or 2 foot cable, which is really nice, very convenient to have. And you also have a shorter cable that's about only 3 inches or so. Wish they had a 4-inch one, because the 3-inch I found it to have a little bit of a problem reaching my Microsoft Zoom, but it's not a big deal. The majority of the time I have it out of my pocket, and you have seen there's some scratches on the leather here because I do carry it with me in my pocket of my jeans, and I use relaxed fit jeans, so I've never had a problem with it getting stuck in my pocket because of how big it is. But you could feel the weight. It is pretty heavy. It makes it heavier with this case, but I wouldn't want to be without it. Anyways, other input here, it's not really an input, it's a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack output, and you can connect any in-ear monitors, headphones, earphones, or cans, however you want to call them, that are from 6 ohms all the way to 600 ohms, which is very convenient. That gives you a wide variety of earphones and headphones and cans and in-ear monitors that you want to plug into this thing, and it should power it just fine. On the bottom, you have a line button, and if you cross it to USB, then it allows you to use the DAC that's built in on this amplifier. And on the display, you'll see that it'll say input has been switched to USB. When I switch it back to line, input has been switched back to line. So you can use the DAC with this, which it does sound pretty nice. I personally didn't notice too much of a difference using it with the line in, because the EQ that's built in works so well that you don't really need to have the music connected under DAC. But that's just my own opinion. I've used it twice under DAC and it works very well. I've used it on a Microsoft Windows 7 professional PC, and I have Windows Media, and the only way to use it is just simply connecting the included USB cable. You plug the charging part obviously to your Shure SHA900 portable headphone amplifier, and then the other end you connect it to any input of the USB. And once you plug it in, you just go into your Windows Media, you open up the program, and then you set your volume at maximum. Once you set your volume at maximum and you connect this right afterwards, it disables the volume on the computer, and then you just control the volume from the headphones that you have plugged in here through this device. So you can't lower the volume down on your computer once this is plugged in, because this disables that and uses this as the amp. It's very convenient. You can really get some good sound out of this, but I actually use it 90% of the time is through the line in, and I use it with my Microsoft Zune 30 gigabyte. And yeah, this is a great amplifier so far. I'll just tell you right off the back. So anyways, let's go ahead and look at the display so you guys can see what the display has to offer. So the display lets you see your input, which is line, your battery percentage, which I have it at 62% because I used it yesterday. You have your volume meter, which right now is at 10, but it can go all the way up to 25. Okay, so there you go. It can go up to 25. I personally like to have it at 18, but you could turn it up to 20 without any distortion. Anything above 20 does give you some distortion, and you will notice it on the earphones or whatever in-ear monitors you may have. The majority of the time though, when I'm here at home, I have it at volume 12. And under volume 12, I was able to get basically 10 hours of audio out of this per charge, which is great. If I turn it up to about 18 or 20, I get about maybe 7 hours of audio, which is not so bad, and that is with my own personal EQ settings. I haven't tried it under flat because I don't really listen to any of my music under flat, but yeah, that's about it there. And then you have your input pad, which is at 0 dB, and we'll get more into that in the menu. And then you have your EQ set to de-essing, because I was trying to actually do a video yesterday, but something happened on my computer and it malfunctioned, so I'm going to do everything off of my Samsung Galaxy Note 9 here that I'm using right now, and just upload it direct since the computer's acting stupid. But let's go ahead and get into the menu, because I know this is what you guys want to really see. So to get to the menu, you have to push the volume button twice. There's like a clicking sound that you can hear. You can kind of hear that little sound. Well, you have your menu here, and your menu gives you equalizer, audio, and utilities. Now each icon has its own set of options as you go into them, so it gets pretty deep. Let's go ahead and start with EQ, since I'm pretty sure this is what you guys are mainly interested in. So under EQ, when you go to bypass, this is flat. If you go to bypass, all the option that it gives you is to apply. You can't change anything under bypass. Okay. Loud boost, right there you can, and loud boost all the way down to user defined 4. You can edit and change your EQ settings to your liking, and then select save. So let's go to edit so you guys can see how they have it set up. Now this is from the factory. Low boost, this is exactly how it's set up. So you have a 125 hertz crossover, 5 decibel of audio boost, and then there's a curve here that gives you a bandpass curve. This is disabled on the first one and on the last EQ, or basically band. So the middle one here, which is the second band and the third band on all the EQ settings, allow you to do a bandpass setup. So it can either focus on one frequency, 3 frequencies, or 5, which is very convenient. Let's go ahead and go back to Vocal Boost so you guys can see how they have that set up. So here's Vocal Boost. And this is what Vocal Boost looks like. So the first band is at 80 Hertz. The second band is at 1.6 thousand or 1.6 thousand Hertz. And then this one is 5,000 Hertz. And then the last one is at 8,000 Hertz at 0 dB. So that's flat. That's for vocals. Loudness. Loudness, it looks like this. So 100 Hertz on the first band, minus 250 Hertz on the minus 5 decibels on the second band. Same deal here on the 1.6 thousand Hertz, 3 decibels, and then 8,000 Hertz at 5 decibels. That's loudness. De-essing. I didn't really notice much of a difference with de-essing. Now, de-essing is supposed to help lower the high frequency sounds so that when you hear like S sounds, it doesn't sound like, you know, distorted or like a pop tweeter sound. So this is what it looks like. So as you can see, everything is pretty much at minus 2 dB for the de-essing, and there's your bandpass curve right there that you can see. Now let's go down to my user defines. This is the ones that I use, and this is where I do like that you have 4 customizable EQ settings for yourself. The only thing I wish you can do with it is being able to custom name your user defines 1 and 4. If you can rename them to like hip hop, jazz, rock, classic rock, or whatever, that would be really cool and make it worth this price point. Let's go ahead and go back to the EQ settings. You guys can see mine. So this one is mine. Now this one here that I have, I use this a lot with like some of my bass heavy hip hop music. I really like listening to a lot of heavy bass, and it actually helps mute out any sound around me when I'm actually listening to music. So this is a nice setup for myself for that kind of music. This one here, user define 2, is most likely my universal option that works with pretty much everything. So this one here, the way I have it set, it's basically to be able to listen to basically any kind of genre of music, from jazz to classic rock to 80s rock, to hip hop, anything pretty much that you can think of works really well with this setting. So the first one I have is at 100 Hertz at 6 dB. Then I have 250 Hertz on the second band at 4 decibels with the bandpass option on, or wide bandpass, bandwidth, whatever you call it. Again, 1.6 Hertz seems to be a good standard frequency for the third band, 4 decibels. And then the last band is 5K at 6 dB. And it's really easy to change. Now we're just gonna go ahead and go down to user define 4 just so I can show you guys how it works. So on this one, with the first band, you can go from basically as low as 20 Hertz all the way up to 630. When you go to 630, you can change on the second option. When you push the volume button down, you can change it to plus 6 dB, 0 dB, or minus 6 dB. If there's a song that may have too much bass, you can lower it down. However, I do wish that it had a 10 band parametric EQ would make it sound a whole lot better than what it sounds like right now. But it does sound good even with these 4 bands, but a 10 band will make it more customizable, or even a 5 band would be great for its price point. So this right here, it's already set to 315 hertz. Now, like I mentioned before, the second band and the third band can go from 20 hertz all the way to 20,000 hertz. And you have the option of setting your decibel rating at plus 6 dB, 0 dB, minus 6 dB, and then you can also select your bandpass like curve. So let's leave it the way it is. Okay, so this is 2 dB. Now I'm going to give you an example. So this is bandpass, and the bandpass gives you 5 frequencies for you to be able to boost up. When you change it, it lowers it down to 3 frequencies to focus on. You have one more option. This option allows you to just focus on one single frequency only, and it won't focus on the rest. So you guys can see what the second and the third one does. But I have it set like this to give me more range, and you can hear the audible difference on this amp when you do that option. So it's the same exact thing for this one. You can go from 20 hertz all the way to 20,000 hertz and change it up. The last one works just like the first one. The only difference is that this one allows you to go from 20,000 hertz down to 20 hertz, and you can do plus 6 dB, 0 dB, or minus 6 dB, but you can't change your curve setting on the bandwidth. You can't change that. So other than that, that's about it for your user-defined force. Like I said before, I wish you can be able to customize the name, even if it's from the PC, just typing it in and then plugging the device in and just changing it. That would be great. And the same thing with the parametric EQ. Instead of having 4 bands, it'd be nice if it had 5, 6, or even 10 bands to make it better and make it worth this $1,000 price point. Now let's go on to audio. Under audio, you have your output gain. I have it on high, but if you have a device that sounds just too loud and you can't control the volume, you could always lower it down like this with selecting the low, and it reduces it a couple notches, not too much. But I like to have it on high because I really like to have my earphones loud and try to mute out all the sound around me. Limiter tries its best to be able to automatically reduce the volume when it senses higher frequency, or not higher frequency, but higher volume than it should. The problem with this is that it sounds like somebody is being a jerk and messing with the volume, going up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's really annoying, and I would not recommend using limiter. So I would highly suggest you just ignore that option and don't bother with it, because it just makes your music sound like crap and it's annoying. Input pad is very useful because just in case you have like some kind of a record player and you want to use this amplifier with it, there are some record players that do not have a volume control and they just have a specific they're basically balanced outs, and they might be too loud, so you can use a minus 10 dB or minus 20 dB option to drop that volume down so it won't sound so distorted when you're playing music off of here. That is very convenient to have, and pretty unique for an amplifier of this size to have something like that. So let's go back. Other than that, that's it for the audio part. Let's go down to utilities. Now, utilities has way more options, and we're going to go through that right now. You have display, battery info, factory reset, your firmware information, your hardware information, which includes your serial number, and disable charging when you're listening to music on your computer using the DAC. This way you don't have to worry about sacrificing a charge cycle if you have full power. Let's go to display. Check out that option there. Other display, you have brightness, screen timeout, language, flip screen, knob direction, and that's it. So let's go to brightness first. Brightness can go from 0 all the way to 15. And you're going to see right now as this gets brighter, and my phone is probably going to automatically adjust the brightness on the screen. And it goes right back down to 0. Now, personally, to 1. I like to have it under 1 because it's already bright enough. As you can see, it's daylight outside, and I have the windows open, or the screens, and you can see that even with brightness, you can still see it, which is nice. Screen timeout. Screen timeout is set to 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and 60 seconds. What this does is basically when you are not using anything, you're not pressing the power button, you're not pressing the volume button or anything like that, the screen turns off after you stop pressing it. So it takes about 2 seconds of you not pushing anything, and then it'll start counting the 15 seconds. And once the 15 seconds are off, the screen will turn off, like you just seen right now. Now, that is a really convenient feature to have. I think it's pretty cool to have that. Let's go down to flip screen. Now, flip screen, all flip screen does just flips the screen over, and I'm going to demonstrate it right now. And excuse the crappy video quality here. I keep trying to focus this thing, but it's not working so well. But if I select yes, that's all it does. Now, flipping the screen is convenient for when you have it connected under DAC to your computer. You have your USB cable connected there, and your computer's facing on that side over there, and you have it just sitting on your desk, and you can just be doing your work and having all these options here that you can still control the same exact way through the volume rocker, and still have control with your device plugged in, like, you know, your headphones, and just relax and listen to your music and have all your information this way. Very, very, very convenient. So we're going to go ahead and go back to flip screen, select flip screen, select yes, and now we switched it back. Now let's go to language. Language, there's only one option for us here in the US, and that's English. I don't know what these are because I don't understand what this language is. It has to be some kind of Asian language. No offense to anybody, but I don't understand what this is. But it's good that they have English on here. There's no Spanish, so anybody who can only speak Spanish, you gotta learn this language or either one of these other options, because there isn't any options for Spanish or for any other language in general. But anyways, English is good because we're here in the US, and I guess that's our native language here. So let's go down to utilities again and go down to display, and we can go to knob direction. Knob direction is convenient but inconvenient. Convenient because instead of you going counterclockwise to go down and clockwise to go up, it does the opposite. But when you do that, and I'm going to show you right now, this is the way I like to have it. See how it clockwise leaves the volume, the knob up, and then when you go counterclockwise, the menu goes down. I love that feature, but there's one problem. That problem is that it affects the volume control. So now clockwise is volume down, and counterclockwise is volume up. That is a huge inconvenience. I wish they can disable that part, leave the volume as is, and just focus on just the button control or configuration. Other than that, that's the only options there are under display. We're going to switch it back. And now we can go to battery info. Battery info just has 3 options here. I have 60% battery life now. I have a total of 7 charge cycles. I usually charge it like once a month because I do use it, but not a lot. And I've never had my temperature of my battery go high. It's always been under normal. I have seen like a 2% reduction in power consumption whenever I don't use it, and it's cold temperatures. The battery does kind of reduce a little bit in power. So it loses charge like by 2%, which is still not bad considering whatever battery it might have inside, which I don't know what the milliamp hours on the battery is, but that's about it. Factory reset. Just lets you know here, are you sure all your user settings will be lost? No, I do not want to reset that. Firmware. Firmware is firmware 1.2.2 as of today, which is Sunday, April 7, 2019. And I could enable software or firmware updates. Once I plug it into the computer, it'll automatically try to detect it. There hasn't been any changes on that though. So Let's go to hardware. Hardware shows your hardware information, which is hardware 4, and your serial number. And then down to disable charging. Crap. Let's go back down again. Disable charging. Are you sure your device will no longer charge? Use this option only when you're playing your music with DAC and you have like 50 or 75% battery life on your amplifier. Because if you choose to leave this option off and you have 50 or 60% battery life and you reach 100% while it's charging at the same time and playing your music off your DAC, with the computer, it counts a charge cycle. So don't make that same mistake I did. Try to completely drain your battery from 100 down to 0 or at least 10% before you choose to recharge the battery on this device. So let's go down to utilities again, and that's about it. That's all the menu settings for this. There is no other options. That is every single option that I went through within 26 minutes of this video. So I would like to do a sound test for you guys, but I am really scared of having any copy strikes on me. I had a previous channel before and I did that with some music in a car, of background music, and I got a copy strike like 3 times. I didn't know that I was copy strike because everything gets done through my smartphone here. And unfortunately, my whole channel was terminated. And I had everything inputted from my smartphone, so all my videos were lost. And now I started over with 7 subscribers, which again, to the 7 subscribers that I have, thank you so much to subscribing for my to my channel. I really appreciate it. In this channel, you're not going to be seeing me monetizing anything. If you do see commercials, that's on YouTube, not me. I am not monetizing anything on my channel because I hate commercials personally. And I don't do Patreon either. I like to work for my stuff and earn them myself and be proud of the fact that I purchased this with my own money and nothing else. So it also, just gives me the flexibility of being able to be honest with my personal opinions on certain products, whether they're good or not, without having to have anybody telling me, oh, we want you to talk good about our products and blah, 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 and basically sell my soul to some random person that decides to sponsor a video. So no sponsorship here needed. Anyways, with that said, that's about it. I do have a GoPro Hero 5 that has some microphone adapter. I can plug in this amplifier to it and do a sound test. But again, I don't want to do it because I don't want to get copy strike. So I'm sorry to the person who asked me if I can do a video with the sound test. I am so sorry, but I just can't. I can't take that risk. Here in the US and with YouTube's regulations, it's really, really, really hard to even put anything up with a couple seconds of audio because automatically you will be like terminated with the way YouTube works here. But other than that, is it worth buying? It is definitely worth buying. It is worth owning. If you don't care about the display and you just want to have maybe like a 20 to 30% boost in your audio because it sounds too low, I would highly recommend that you consider the Feel A1. It's a small, very, very tiny little mini amplifier. It uses the same USB input and has the same charging. The only difference is that it only has 4 EQ settings and it has your line in at the bottom and your headphone jack at the top, and it just has a little display on the power button. So there's just power, and that same power button is your EQ settings as you press it, and then there is a minus and positive for the volume control, and that's it. You don't know when the battery dies on that thing until you start noticing a slightly distortion at high volume. But it's only $30 versus $1,000 for this. So if you just want to get a simple boost in audio with a little more bass, I would highly recommend that amp. I got mine at Guitar Center for $30. Really cheap, very affordable, and because of that amplifier, I decided to go even bigger, spend $1,000 on something like this, and I have no regrets buying this. I don't think it's worth $1,000 though. I'm gonna be honest. It could be worth $1,000 if it had that 6-band or maybe 10-band parametric EQ, and if it had the ability to customize your names for your user defines 1 through 4. I believe with that it's worth $1,000, but because of its limitations and the frequency bands from like 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz, I believe like $700 is a really good price for an amplifier like this. But other than that, that's pretty much it for the review. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry I talked too much, but I wanted to like really get this down to the point where you guys can understand how this amplifier works. I've gone over every single feature on this amplifier. There's nothing more to show you guys. So the rest is up to you guys, whether you guys want to buy it or not. Again, if you can find it for under $700 and it's brand new, buy it. It's worth every penny. $1,000 is still a very steep price. It would be worth $1,000, like I said again, if it had a 10-band parametric EQ and if you can customize the user-defined 1 through 4 with a custom name, like rock, jazz, hip-hop, R&B, or anything on here. If you can just plug it in through the USB with your computer and just customize the names on the computer with the keyboard, that'd be great. And that would be, honestly, it would make it worth the $1,000 price range or price tag. But because it's not, I think $700 would be the most I would pay for something like this. Now, if this was to ever get, break on me where I drop it in the street and a car runs it over, would I buy it again? Yes, I would buy it again. Would I buy it for $1,000? If I don't have any other choice and I can't find it brand new for $700, yes, I will shell out $1,000 again and rebuy this amplifier because it sounds that good. Other than that, that's it for my review. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you like what you see. There will be more stuff in the future coming up. Again, the reason why I have so little videos is because I invest my own personal money into buying these products for myself. And I figure, you know what, maybe somebody wants to get some information on something on this and they want somebody who is going to really tell them what it is all about. And that's what my channel is all about, telling you the truth about specific products without having to worry about anybody trying to sponsor a channel and giving me stuff for free and basically speaking positive things about a product that doesn't work so well. But I have no complaints on this amplifier. It works fantastic. It's great. It sounds perfect. I would highly recommend you getting this. But again, not for $1,000. $700 pushing it, brand new. If you can find it, awesome. If it's on sale, just pick it up. It is an awesome amplifier. With that said, thank you very much guys for watching the video. Have a good one. Until next time, peace out.